You could accept the fact that this city is headed for a disaster of biblical proportion.
What do you mean, biblical?
What he means is Old Testament, Mr.
Yes.
Mayor. Real wrath of God type stuff.
Exactly.
Fire and brimstone coming down from the skies. Rivers and seas boiling.
40 years of darkness, earthquakes, volcanoes.
The dead rising from the grave.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
We don't normally get this kind of action.
It's for us. It's just
exciting.
for us. It's the way our stream is.
Oh, dear. It's because you guys are here.
It was a legitimate call. It made sense. It was pass interference. I don't care what anybody says.
Get ready for 2 hours of hard-hitting football talk from two men in the know. It's Football on the Know with Jim and Joe.
You call runs when you're not supposed to, and Dak Prescott is throwing it in the dirt.
What they say, it's not the X's and the O's, it's the Jimmies and the Joes.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome once again to another episode of Football on the Know. I am Jim McPhee, and alongside of me is Mr. Joe DeCapita.
What's going on, Know-It-Alls? Welcome back for another edition of Football on the No Show.
Yes.
What's going on? I am jacked up, ready to go. And why? Because I'm hooked up with Raise Energy drinks, and they got me fired up, Jim.
Wow, Joe, you got to tell me more about this Raise Energy.
Well, let me tell you, buddy. Unlike other energy drinks, let me slow down,
Well,
okay? Because I'm really hyped up, bro. Let me tell you. So
We have a
I
show to
have
do.
a ton of energy right now in me, right? I just drank a can of this right here. It's called Sour Gummy Worms.
Oh, yeah, sour gummy worms.
All right, you haven't heard of that flavor
No,
yet,
I've heard
have
of
you?
sour apple, but the sour gummy worms.
Yes. So very delicious, first of all. Second of all, it's sugar-free. I got a ton of energy from it already, and let's see how long it lasts, right? Can it last the whole show? I think it might.
I think it does. You're
And
packed of energy
the
anyway.
The other thing that's great about this energy drink in particular is that I drank one before last week, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was all hyped up, energetic and everything. I went home. It wore off, but I wasn't drowsy afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
There was no crashing. I mean, yeah, it was a little later, so I probably should have went to bed right away, but it didn't happen. So, another thing, too, is great is it doesn't crash. It doesn't make you crash. So kudos to Raise Energy Drink. They're out of Florida. So they're, made in the USA. Mm-hmm. Great stuff, phenomenal stuff. We also got a promo code.
All right, tell us more. What's
so
the promo
for all
code
you
here?
lucky know-it-alls out there that tune in, watch the show, or follow us on social media, make sure you enter the promo code RAISE'EMUP. That's RAISE'EMUP, RAZEMUP. You enter that promo code, you get a small little discount on it, and I'll tell you right now, you will not regret it. It's phenomenal.
I love it. Yeah, I tried some last week. I tried a little bit of the sour gummy worms too, and I'm not into the whole different types of flavors that aren't like a real flavor. Mm-hmm. Gummy worms, though, I'm down with that. I love it. You guys should get some too. Absolutely. Promo code, raise them up. All right, but we've got a show to get to, Joe.
All right, let's go.
I'm excited, and I only had a little bit of it so far, but Julio Jones, we talked about it last week and the week before a little bit.
Yeah.
Knew it was going to come down to this week. We knew we were going to talk about this week, and there it is. It's finally the winner of the sweepstakes here is the Tennessee Titans here. And now he is traded for a 2022 second-round pick and a 23 fourth-round pick here now to the Tennessee Titans now.
Yeah, 2023 fourth-round and sixth-rounder. Basically what the trade ended up being is that Atlanta would send Julio Jones and their sixth-rounder for 2023 to the Titans. Titans then give up, like you were saying, second round in 22, fourth and sixth-rounder in 2023.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So the one question everybody's asking out here down too for this is what kind of impact is this going to happen or have for the team? Tennessee Titans, is this enough to get them over that top? Because again, they've been a good contender in here. We saw them two seasons ago that they upset the Patriots there in the playoffs, went further on. We're at the AFC Championship game, but just couldn't get done. Lost to the Chiefs, and then the Chiefs went on to win the Super Bowl in that particular year. Last year just didn't have enough to get it, but they lost a lot on defense. And then also there's some changes over this upcoming season now. And they lose Corey Davis now too, and a lot of other weapons. Jonnu Smith goes to the Patriots now too as well. Humphreys is not there anymore either as well. So a big difference here for this team. They still have A.J. Brown there on the other side, and he was clamoring to get good old
Oh,
Julio
yeah.
Jones there, too.
Oh, yeah.
Still not budging on the number, like you said. So now Julio changes to number 2 now out there. So we're
Yeah.
going to see Julio with a different number.
It's definitely going to be
And
different.
What kind of impact is this going to have on the team? Is this enough to get him over the edge? And then also another question could be, okay, Julio Jones now with the Atlanta Falcons, his whole career, he's that aging type of wide receiver. I know he wanted to go to a team that was a contender. If they can get there now, what is this going to do for his legacy possibly?
Not only was that one of the stipulations that he wanted to go to a contender, but also he wanted to go to a big-armed quarterback, is how he phrased it. I don't see Tannehill as being one of those big-armed quarterbacks. Do I think he has an adequate arm? Absolutely. I think he can handle the deep passes and all that type of thing. But if he was really looking for a cannon of an arm that was and the team was competitive as well, I mean, there was definitely different routes that he could have went. The Titans happened to nab him in this trade. They were big, they were big proponents to really make a hard push for Julio Jones. And in the end, they got him. A lot of people reported first-round pick was involved, but, I mean, some people, including us, we just didn't see that was going to be the final price. And sure enough, for a 32-year-old wide receiver with coming off a major injury last year, only playing 9 games, and on top of that, there was lots of questions of a guy of his caliber. Can he stay healthy going forward, for one? And for two, how much longer is Julio Jones going to be playing for his career? So those questions still have to be answered. But the Titans were the winners in this sweepstakes. Now, does this make them a Super Bowl caliber team? I don't really think so, because after them trying to rebuild this past offseason with that defense and how porous it was stopping the pass, they struggled mightily in that. Creating pass rush on opposing quarterbacks was also another issue for them. Now they come in, they in this past draft, they get one of the premier talents at cornerback in Caleb Fairley. Hopefully that will strengthen that cornerback position for them. On top of that, they bring in a guy, a pass rushing specialist from the Steelers in Bud Dupree to help create more pass rush against opponents. And then you add a guy like Julio Jones to this offense. Here's the other thing that I have a big question mark about, too. For Tennessee, they are predominantly a run team. They're not necessarily a passing team. They're not really that balanced. They do tend to steer more heavier to the run. Will that change now with a different offensive coordinator, now once again being promoted through the ranks, and Arthur Smith, who was their offensive coordinator from last year, moves on to be the head coach of Atlanta Falcons, which is kind of an interesting tie right there.
Right.
Maybe both parties kind of made that thing work.
Yeah, maybe they had that relationship there.
Exactly. So that, again, do I think they are Super Bowl ready? No, I don't, because just like Jim was mentioned earlier, they did lose some pieces along the way too. Their great tight end that they had in Jonnu Smith, who was very underrated. Now he is gone. They do still, I believe they still have Anthony Ferkser as now looks like they're starting tight end, or is Pruitt still there? That's another thing.
Ferkser's still there, yep.
Yeah, Ferkser's still there. Good tight end, kind of like a no-name to the casual fan, but nonetheless, good player. He can easily, take over that tight end spot. Another thing, too, is like you mentioned, Corey Davis being absent. Now he's not there. So Julio Jones come in. Don't get me wrong. Julio Jones is going to command a lot of double teams. And what's that going to mean for A.J. Brown? That's going to make him open up even more. I think A.J. Brown, more than Julio, is going to have a bigger year for this upcoming season in terms of the passing game. And then Derrick Henry. He's the bell cow of this offense so far. Until we see otherwise, he's the go-to guy in this offense. So there has been questions that have already been put out there for Julio Jones to answer via press conference, and he stated that now that he's been traded to the Titans, it's not about him getting his stats. It's not about getting a lot of catches. It's not about getting a lot of yards or touchdowns. He basically said that he's looking forward to the season, and it's about getting W's. So he doesn't care if he gets the ball 10 times a game or if he gets the ball 2 times a game, as long as they're winning. So it's almost like he kind of changed his mindset now that he knows what team he went to.
Yeah, also, he's probably looking at it, too, as well as it's tough being with a team that's been so good for so long. Even, too, you saw that offense of the Atlanta Falcons really moving along and clipping along. He was a big, major part of that. And then when they had a few losing seasons here, it's kind of down on some of these players here, too, especially when he was that close to winning. I mean, they had the Patriots on the ropes. They had them. And they're so close to winning there and then not have it. So I'm sure he wants to say, you got to win to get to the playoffs and win the Super Bowl. So, I mean, W's are everything.
Right.
So that's kind of not a surprise there.
Right.
But he just wants to get back to
He
those
just
winning
wants to win.
ways.
That's
And
it.
what's great about it is he does have a running game now to fall on here. Because, again, with Atlanta, they really hadn't had one for a long time. It was nice when, I'd say, Freeman was younger when he first kind of got onto the league, kind of showed some him and that Tevin Campbell kind of 1-2 punch was nice for Atlanta when they did make that Super Bowl run. But since then, again, especially going to Dirk Cutter, that's what happens. We already knew this.
Right.
We knew it before. Doesn't run. He can't get it done there on that.
Right.
And now he has that to fall on. But they should probably stick to this. But how different is the offense going to be with Todd Downing in there? Should it be the same? Hopefully, again, if you learn under what Arthur Smith has done before, and if he has been with this organization for so long, moving on from what whatchamacallit, from the Green Bay Packers, had gone Matt LaFleur.
Yeah.
He's been kind of teaching the same type of thing. So if they stay along in that same offense, you should look pretty similar. But it's nice to have these extra weapons here. And don't forget, Josh Reynolds is over there now, too, from the Rams. He's a nice little fit.
He's an underrated receiver for sure, and he will definitely help this offense grow. The thing with Todd Downing is I have a little bit of experience with him because he used to coach with the Raiders. He used to be an assistant for them. And Todd Downing, I feel like the way he was brought up through the coaching ranks, he's more of a balanced type of offense. You know what I mean? Like, he will run the ball to set the tempo, but he will also throw the ball too if necessary. You know what I mean? So I feel like maybe it will change a little bit more than what Titans fans are used to, just handing the ball off to Derrick Henry and then playing off the run. Now, yes, they're still going to give the rock to Derrick Henry, but they are going to do a little bit more, maybe some play actions, which I guess they were kind of doing last year too. They were utilizing that, but all in all, it'll be more balanced. It won't be so run-heavy as it was in the past. Now it's going to probably switch gears yet again because we noticed when Matt LaFleur was there, he threw the ball a lot and didn't really utilize Derrick Henry in all his talents.
That's true.
Then he moves on. Arthur Smith gets promoted to be coordinator, and then they started running the ball more and passing less. And then now it might be a mixture of both with Todd Downing there, as with going kind of like a 50-50 split in this offense, running the ball and passing the ball. So that's going to be interesting to watch for this upcoming season with the Titans. But I feel like there's going to be an adjustment period for everybody here. Tannehill, got to be super ecstatic about this. I mean, what quarterback wouldn't be? You got Julio Jones, one of the best ever to do it, and you have a young up-and-coming player who's already kind of proven himself so far in this league in A.J. Brown. Josh Reynolds, another nice piece like you mentioned before, and Anthony Firkser, who I think might have a breakout year for Tennessee, who being unknown as long as he has. So defensively, that's where it really has to get better. That's where, in order for the Titans to push for not only the division or deep into the playoffs, but to get to that Super Bowl, that defense has to perform extremely better for this upcoming year in order for them to really carry that into the postseason. So very interesting stuff now that the Tennessee Titans got Julio Jones. That's definitely going to mix some things up in that division. Colts, I mean, that's my one team I wanted to get to obtain Julio Jones. Didn't happen. But Tennessee now, it's hard not to say that maybe they are definitely pushing for that division now. It's hard to not say that they are potentially the favorites so far.
Right, absolutely. Now, for me, it changes the look, not the Super Bowl chances, but I think, again, capturing that division now. Now, if you have Carson Wentz there with the Colts, and now they have to face these guys twice a year now. Now you've got the better weapons that Tannehill has probably had his whole career.
Yes.
If you look at his career,
yes,
this is the best he's ever had. And the way he's been playing the last couple of seasons, too, as well, and kind of silently doing it, not people getting noticing him at all, this will help him absolutely here and at least make a run to take the division and get that higher playoff spot.
Right. And the other thing, too, it's kind of funny to me because now that we're talking about the Titans and Julio Jones is now on the roster, a lot of concern was salary cap, right? Like, could they do it? We didn't see the Titans being major players because in terms of the cap, they only had $3 million under the cap at that time. Amazing job, and this goes to show you that any team, regardless of their cap situation, if they really want somebody bad enough, they can make it happen. So they ended up restructuring the contract of Ryan Tannehill, who had by far the biggest contract on the roster, and flipped it over and basically made the whole season this year, his cap number, all cash in terms of signing bonus. So now that changes everything, makes his base salary now $1 million, and clearing enough cap room just by that one move to obtain Julio Jones, and now they're still under the cap by more than $3 million now $7 million under the cap. So tremendous job by the front office, tremendous job on negotiating the deal and getting Julio Jones for, second-round pick, fourth-rounder in 23 and a sixth-rounder. I think that's a pretty good bargain as long as Julio Jones can stay healthy.
Yeah, definitely. So a lot of business out there. Everybody's been talking about it, but Julio Jones to the Tennessee Titans, let's see what kind of impact that will have for them moving forward. And the season's getting started just a little bit. I don't know. I feel the itch already. I mean, we still got a few months, but again, OTAs have gone through. Now mini camps are going. Some have even stopped mini camps. We'll talk about that in a little bit later too.
Unbelievable.
But what I want to get to too is there was a article I read on NFL.com. Now, the NFL will their pain management committee, they will be now looking to invest $1 million into research on pain management and how cannabinoids, which I didn't know that was an actual word, but that's what they call it.
Cannabinoids?
Yeah, the cannabinoids affect you and pain management. And it could lead up to about 5 grants now by Thanksgiving now, give it out to different research groups to research how it affects dealing with injuries, things like that, athletes. And for one, they want to realize that if it might be safe, or then if it's how effective it is with their performance too. What kind of effect does it have? I mean, yes, it might help them with pain management during a game, like so they don't have to sit out multiple weeks. Maybe it'll help, but how will they perform too as well?
Afterwards, yeah, the side effects of it, you know what I mean? So, and over a longer period of time, they'll be able to gather that kind of information for them and to decipher what is the best course of action going forward with marijuana, CBD, even dabs, like whatever they choose to use. So we already know that, hey, we already know players do it anyway right now. They can get by it. Listen, Pat McAfee on his show, right? The ex-kicker of the Colts, for those of you that don't know. Super funny guy, does a great job with his show, very informative. Gives you the ins and outs of an NFL player. His show, he basically said, hey, he's like, hey, listen, I know plenty of players, all kinds of guys, offensive linemen, skill players, whatever. They smoke. They smoke. There's no way the NFL can stop them because in the end, when they have an idea of a period of time before the season starts or into the off season where they know for sure they have to be clean because they might get their ticket pulled for that random drug screening. So it's not like you can stop them from doing it. And now that more and more states are now legalizing it, it's hard for the NFL themselves now to come out and say, hey, no, you can't do that. That's illegal, because it's really not. And it's starting to grow and grow and grow. In the U.S., more and more states are legalizing it. So now it's getting harder and harder for the NFL to be able to take that stance and say, well, you really can't do that. That's against our policy. Now that looks like they're going to have to revisit that. It looks like with this research, that's what they're gearing towards, to kind of be able to open up and say, okay, listen, we'll work with you. We'll let you do this, that, and the other thing. but they also want to be safe about it as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they've talked to, I think it was Dr. Hill that is part of their whole research staff about things like this, and he's asked many players, and he's got a lot of mixed reviews about this thing. Some of them, again, think it's a better, safer option for them to deal with some of the pain, when they go through, and some, again, maybe not so much. Maybe it's the way they feel. Maybe it's other things. But again, that's one of the looming questions that's faced them here.
Right.
Like, how deep does it go? Is it going to affect their play? Because that's, I'm sure, what GMs and coaches are more worried about. I'm like, it's fine, they do it recreation, but when they're at a game, I want to see what happens. If it does make him sluggish or whatever.
Right. Does it make him sluggish?
Not
is
sure.
Is he drowsy?
Right.
Is he not, as energized as he normally is? And that's the thing too. Is that marijuana right now is the focal point of what the NFL is concentrating on right now. But also, like, we also see all the awareness months for depression. And Dak Prescott came out recently and talked about how he was depressed going through his injury and how he overcame it and focused and everything like that. Also, you got to also think that marijuana can also be prescribed for anxiety too with some of these players. Maybe they're just not, they have too much anxiety. It hits you randomly. You don't really know when to expect it. And when it does, it might throw them off too. Like, even like when they're playing, they could be taking a playoff on the sideline and all of a sudden it hits them and they're like, they're not going to be affected by it when they go back out there. So maybe this is another alternative of a drug or a prescription or what have you that could actually help athletes perform actually on the football field and stay focused.
Yeah, maybe some of those guys that get a case of the dropsies or something like that, they're the ones that get anxious, like when it comes there. And maybe, I've seen a lot of people, I think a lot, let's just be honest with a lot of people. I think you pretty much know a lot of people that smoke weed and stuff like that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Anything you haven't seen before, but I've seen a lot of people that like to just chill. You sit on the couch, like on the commercials, and just fall into it, whatever. People that like to get really busy and do work, get in the zone, start vacuuming, get crazy, and just they're in the zone, and then they focus. And maybe that's part of it too. Like you said, even anxiety, it drills it all into one spot. And now a guy who maybe would turn up the field too quick or just get those dropsies, he zooms in and focuses, and then he works maybe at his best. The way it affects people differently. And maybe that's how some of this research is going to go. It might give you elevated numbers or numbers that is all over the place, so it's inconsistent. Right. And I think that's what they're kind of worried about when they do this too. Yeah. But remember a time there was, when we look at marijuana, we think of
marijuana.
Yeah, like when they would find people, Josh Gordon, Ricky Williams, you know what I mean, who just took a year off or just quit at the NFL. Just said, I'd rather smoke weed right now.
David Irving.
Where they would just get fined and be done. When Josh Gordon's been reinstated, I don't know, 5 times, something like that.
No, more than that.
Maybe more. But
definitely
more.
But
he came back.
We'll say
able to play.
8 to be safe.
Right. I mean, but again, now they're able to open this door for this. But the one thing that they are worried about, yes, you can say that's safer because they don't want you hooked on some of those more prescription pain medications like the opioids or opioids, right?
I don't know how you're supposed to say it. Like, I hear everybody call it opioids.
I should ask my wife. She knows this, I'm sure.
Right, she probably does. But that's the thing is, like, I hear from a lot of other people that talk about it, they say opioids. And I know maybe the scientific terminology and the way to officially say it is opiates. Is that what you said?
Opioids?
Opioids? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. You look at the spelling of that, and it just doesn't make sense.
I don't know, but anyways, all right, so they don't want them hooked on that. Maybe it's safer that way.
Right.
But one thing that the medical staff here is really worried about is if you use high enough doses to treat some of these bigger for pain management, certain injuries and things like that. If they are already on some other these medications and other things,
that's true.
The mixing of it and sometimes with doing that could have stronger complications,
a stronger effect,
and that might affect you in a different way. And maybe they don't want to see players hurt and things like that. That's what I mean. And suffer to some of these things as well. So that's one thing we can look at this season. We'll see if we get anything on this research. I think maybe they need to invest more than $1 million, though. You know how much the price of weed probably is right now? You know what I'm saying? How much weed are they going to get, to
what's
at 5 grants? You know what I mean? That's 5 different groups.
Yeah,
how much are they going to buy to do
Right.
testing on everybody? You know what I mean?
I mean, here's the other thing, too. Is
10 people? I mean, that's all we got enough. That's all enough money we got. We can only get an ounce, everybody.
Know those out there, you tune into the show. Thank you for the support and everything. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below. Are you for the marijuana testing? Are you for marijuana smoking? Players smoking marijuana. Do you think it's going to affect them in a positive way? Do you think it's going to affect them in a negative way? Let us know either way in the comments below. We really appreciate you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's that topic that's out there. Let us know about that. But Joe, I'm going to take another minute to talk about Raise Energy.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's See, you're really amped up again.
Oh, yeah, buddy.
A lot of people don't know about this out there. You hear about all the other ones out there. I'm going to talk a little bit about it, too, just because I've done a little bit of research myself. I've had a little bit of it. I used to enjoy a lot of energy drinks out there. I've been through Monster. I've been through Rockstar. I've been through Bangs and a bunch of other.
Red Bull.
Red Bull was my first. Again, maybe that was
that was the first love.
That's probably the cherry that was popped for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
But now I tried this Raise Energy. I'm hearing about this Raise Energy. And people are asking me now, hey, where do I get this stuff? Well, you can go to, what was their website, Joe? Rep Sports, I think.
Yeah, repsports.com.
And you check them out. Check out the different flavors that are out there. Use our promo code. It's right here. It's
Raise them up.
Raise them up. Use our promo code. Raise them up. There it is right there. Spell it out just like that. And you'll get a discount. Is it 15% discount?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe
15% off
discount.
your order there. Check it out.
Good
it's going to
stuff,
be
man.
delicious. You guys check this out because I am a stickler about this too. Joe knows it
definitely
about
is.
certain beers too. If they have a weird aftertaste after and stuff like that, diet sodas, I can't stand them. All right, because that aftertaste from the fake sweetener, these guys, 0 sugar, 0 calories, 0 crash, and 0 aftertaste. I cannot get that aftertaste. I don't get it in my mouth. It's delicious. And the different flavors, too. You got Apollo, which I don't know what it is, but it tasted fantastic.
Right. I can't pinpoint it.
No, the sour,
Sour gummy worms.
And I'd see they have grape bubble gum. If you guys like the Bubblicious, like grape Bubblicious, you remember that crap? That was amazing stuff. This stuff, amazing. Try it out.
Yeah,
Just
knocks it
definitely
right out of the park. I mean, this new improved energy drink, if you will, I can't get enough of it. It does phenomenal. I'm all jazzed up. Still, I'm ready to go. We're ready to talk for 4 hours. That's what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
But I know he needs to go to bed.
Also,
soon.
if you do get some, make sure you guys tag us in that stuff too. Football.
Yeah,
let us know. Us in that. Let us know that you got it. And
Even
we'll
if
give a shout out to you on that.
Even if you reach out to us on social media platforms, post it in the groups. If you're in the group, if you're on YouTube, post up in there. Let us know if you used our promo code, if you bought some, and please let us know how you feel about it. I don't think you're going to be disappointed at all. It's truly amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'll tell you right now,
what's up?
all the names of their products, like all their flavors that they have, and believe me, they have a ton of flavors. We checked into it a little bit more, looked at a little bit more of the roster that they have. They're not like distinct flavors. They don't just say, "Oh, this is purple, this is grape, this is orange creamsicle." These are names like sour gummy worms. Okay, you can maybe try to guess, but Apollo, what the hell does that taste like? I still can't figure out what it tastes like. All I know is it tastes phenomenal.
Absolutely, yeah. While you're at our social media places too, make sure you go and follow, like, subscribe. Go to YouTube, Football on the
Smash
No
the
Show.
subscription button.
Oh,
Just smash it.
Yeah, there you go. Tackle it.
Tackle
All right, so now it's time for headlines, Joe. There's a lot of headlines going on here. Again, yeah, the mini camps are starting out there. We're hearing a lot, especially this is day 2 today of some events here with teams getting some reps in. I just got another notification. I am a Giants fan, so I got the one-handed catch that Kenny Galladay had done today. So what's some newsworthy stuff out there you guys want to talk about out there too as well? A lot of things going on. Look at these two. There's 2 teams out there, notably the 49ers and the Houston Texans now, that are saying that they're not going to be doing the mini camps. I can see the 49ers point of view because, again, last year with all the serious injuries that they had, and they had a few injuries already this season, in this early preseason or whatever, the off season. that they probably just want to say, everybody will just not do anything. Do not go outside. Don't go anywhere. You might hurt yourself. But the Houston Texans, one of the teams that
I think we should change their name.
They
should just change their name right now. Washington football team has got to change their name, first of all. Second of all, the Houston Texans,
Maybe
they
they
just
should
need
be
to
the
change it to
Texans.
the Houston trash cans at this point.
Perhaps.
Because that's where they're heading towards. When David Culley, the new head coach of the Houston Texans, I'm sorry, he just announced, and I can't believe I'm hearing this, but he announced that they are not having mini camps. They're not having mandatory mini camp at all.
Horse shit!
Absolutely, Adam. I agree. It is horse shit. It's absolute bullshit. It doesn't make any sense. When you're a team that is basically your roster looks like Swiss cheese, you didn't really, you right now, you don't have Deshaun Watson as a quarterback. Right now, you don't have him. You just don't have him. He's dealing with his own personal issues at court right now. Till that gets resolved, then maybe this whole quarterback situation can get resolved. But as of right now, Watson has already threatened he does not want to play for your team anymore, ever again. He has said that. Who do you have at quarterback right now? You got Tyrod Taylor. You got your rookie that you drafted in I said his name earlier. Was it Andrew?
I don't know. You threw me off.
Andrew Stills.
Yes.
And you have those two guys right now are on your roster, and potentially one of them has to be your starter. I think it would be Tyrod because he's a veteran. But then after your quarterback position, what do you have on this team? You don't have Will Fuller anymore. He went to the Dolphins in free agency. You traded away D-Hop and made Deshaun Watson extremely angry to the Cardinals for peanuts. And the only, I guess you could say, real big threat is Brandon Cooks on this roster. They do still have Kiki QT, who looks like he might end up starting. Randall Cobb, I mean, there's no threat there anymore. He's done with. He's not in his prime anymore. He's over. He's had it. But what do they do to address these offensive needs? Is they end up signing like 4 running backs. 4 starting caliber running backs are now on the roster of the Texans. I don't understand what they're doing there. They got Rex Burkhead. They got Mark Ingram. They got David Johnson via that trade for Hopkins. And they got Phillip Lindsay. All of which could possibly start. Why did you go out and just sign running backs? And then defensively, they not only lost players on the defensive side, but they didn't really do anything to help themselves in terms of addition. They traded away Benderrick McKinney, their starting middle linebacker. They traded him to the Dolphins too. It's like they just hit the reset button, but didn't really fill any holes. And now there's a possibility that Deshaun Watson is not going to be the quarterback this year. They're going farther and farther backwards. The front office is an absolute desolate pile of dong. Don't know how to run it.
Brother, this guy stinks!
And I don't like the direction Houston's headed right now. They just keep going backwards year after year now. And as much as we got on Bill O'Brien, they got rid of Bill O'Brien and they got worse.
It seems like they're heading in that direction. I know what you're talking about here. When you thought it couldn't get worse with Bill O'Brien, and you think they might be able to chance to turn it around here. The thing happens with Deshaun Watson, but you can't even blame the organization for that. But the fact that he wants to leave and everything and feels disrespected, that's one of the other issues. Like what you're talking about here as well. You look at the roster that you have. You have a lot of newer guys, parts. Not only needs though too, but look at some of the newer guys that are there. Mark Ingram comes in, like you said. David Johnson was there last year. Phil Lindsay, a lot of the running backs in there. Nico Collins, I think, was the name you're looking for here for the wide receiver that came in the 3rd round this particular season.
No, I'm not looking at him.
Okay. All right, but that was a wide receiver that
quarterback.
ended up drafting. Oh, quarterback you were talking about. Okay, sorry. They got Jeff Driscoll there and Davis Mills. Davis Mills.
Mills.
Was the quarterback they drafted. But all these newer faces, like you said, Tyrod Taylor, working together. They haven't worked together at all in the NFL, so trying to gel, and you try and come out in a press conference and tell us here that we're not going to be holding mini camps because we've had a lot of people.
They think they got enough.
They've had a lot of turnaround and a lot of people there coming together and people showing up, and they've done a lot of work that they think they're ready or whatever. Good. No. you need to keep preparing.
Right.
There's a long way until the rest of the season, especially when your starter is not going to be there. And they even said that we were preparing that he is not going to show up for mini camps. Well, no crap now because you're not even ahead of him. I'm like, what are you, idiots out there? I'm like, I just don't get what is going on with these guys.
Look at the other 31 teams. They're not saying, we're going to take, mini camps off too. Nobody is. The Niners are so far the only other ones, and that's due to injuries. They've sustained massive injuries in OTAs. I don't know how you do that, but they have. And so that's the reason they're taking minicamp off. Okay, that's a legitimate reason. They're a winning franchise. They are hungry. They're going to come back strong, healthier, better, stronger for the upcoming training camp. But the Houston Texans, you're taking minicamp off for what? You have a lot of questions to answer. You got to figure out who your quarterback is going into the season. You got to figure out roster-wise who's going to end up being a starter, who's not. There's too many questions on it. That defense is completely dismantled. I mean, they got Whitney Merciless still, don't get me wrong, but one guy can't be the only pass rusher on the team. One guy can't be the answer to everything. So defensively, offensively needs to get in terms of chemistry. Tyrod Taylor's got to get, start throwing the ball to Cooks more often. I mean, they got to gel. They got to get closer as a football team. And taking off minicamp, taking off some time from practices is not the answer.
Yeah, absolutely, especially when you know you're going to move forward without your quarterback probably. And now he's talking about destinations he wants to go to, like Denver sounds like he is that's one of the places he wants to end up, which that would be really interesting. I think some of these people out there in the media or even fans are out there. I know Broncos fans would be excited about that, but imagine that now, Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes in the same division together playing twice a year. It's kind of good, but then it's kind of bad in a sense too because, 1 to 2 teams got to come out of that division, at least, sometimes we see more when there's a lot of better teams come out of all the same division. But it would be terrible to see one of those teams not be able to make it just because they had faced one of their other rival quarterbacks out there, the pressure it took.
Yeah, that division is going to be tough.
We've seen that happen with, I would say, the Chargers, of old, with Phillip Rivers when he keeps running into the Patriots teams that he ran into, and Peyton Manning and the Colts every year. I mean, the Chargers with Phillip Rivers and Antonio Gates and LaDainian Tomlinson, they had a really high-powered offense and team, but just whenever they met those other teams, they just could not get it done every time. So, I mean, it's tough when you see something like that happen, but who knows? That place is a mess. We know it.
They're a disaster.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the other headlines we wanted to touch
They might have the number 1 pick next year.
Probably, if they have one left, I don't know. The way they give them
they
away,
give them away,
time.
right?
Yeah, so I don't know. I'll have to
and
check on it.
And that's the other thing, right there. What you just said, right there, is the reason why when they're a team that still needed to add pieces, even if Watson was their starter going into this season, if that can happen, even if that was to happen, they missed. Will Fuller left in free agency. You let him walk right out the door. It didn't seem like they even tried to re-sign him. And I understand maybe it's because of the injuries that he sustained. They're like, we're giving up on you because you can't stay healthy. But the trading away one of the best receivers in the game in DeAndre Hopkins, bonehead move. And, well, another bonehead move was giving Bill O'Brien the power to do that as a GM. Now knowing that you need to plug holes more than ever and you don't have the compensation to do it. You traded a lot of your draft picks, especially this draft. They didn't have a first rounder. They didn't have a second rounder. And hell, they didn't even almost have much in terms of after the third round. So they didn't really have the capital to replenish a lot of the holes in the draft. And free agency, they didn't go out and attack it and create cap space or something to attack free agency and bring in some even older vets to help make them somewhat competitive. So they missed out on the offseason as well.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so one of the other headlines out there that we find very interesting to talk about here is Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers again. Now he is not showing up. It is probably an official holdout here. So they're gearing up. They're getting Jordan Love some practice out there, expecting that he was going to be their starter. They're liking what they're seeing so far.
The hype is real with Jordan Love, apparently.
There you go. Yeah, so, I mean, they're prepared to move forward. So what's going to go down with this team? Is he going to be just not showing up? Are they going to trade him, in the future? That is a big thing that's weighing on there, too, because even if you want to look at, the Denver Broncos, for some reason that's a destination a lot of people want to go to. Now, imagine the Broncos almost got to feel like that.
I don't think
that
so.
girl kind of, you know what I mean? That's kind of like, well, I got two guys that want to, come over here or whatever, this. Check that out. You got either Aaron Rodgers or Deshaun Watson, that's apparently out there that would want to play for you guys. But imagine him being in one of these other teams on the NFC now, too, still, and competing against possibly the Green Bay Packers, or against Tom Brady, and be one of the other elite teams out there to stop the Bucs from getting back to the Super Bowl.
You know what? Something that strikes me about this whole situation is if he was to get traded, I don't think either one of those are good fits for him, for Rodgers or Watson. I think that the Broncos, maybe it's something that the Broncos media is putting out there that Watson definitely wants to go there or Rodgers wants to go to Denver. I know they have a need at quarterback. We all know that. That's not a mystery. But if they wanted to address that need at quarterback, they would have done that in the draft. They had ample opportunity to draft and take a quarterback there. And didn't. They vouched to go and sign a veteran in Teddy Bridgewater and brought him in. And I feel like they are pretty comfortable with Bridgewater being their starter this year. Because you got to imagine, if you were to trade for a guy like Watson or Rodgers, you're giving up a ton in capital. You are giving up a lot. And you better make sure that you are a team that is just a quarterback away from making a push for the Super Bowl. And if you're not, don't do the trade. Don't do the trade because either quarterback wants to go to a competitive team. They want to go and be the difference maker. So for Rodgers right now, it's the first time this dude in his entire career has skipped minicamps, has skipped voluntary OTAs. First time. Even with Brett Favre there, he was always there, always participating. Now this offseason, if you didn't believe Aaron Rodgers before what he said, now you better start listening because he's not showing up when he always does. So one thing has to happen. It's very simple because Aaron Rodgers is the type of person, the type of quarterback, the type of competitor that when he says something and he says it in a serious tone, he means it. And he wants Green Bay to either A, move on from the GM and he'll come back, or B, give him the weapons that he so desires. And unless one of those two things happen, and give him that, like they already, and the other thing too is they've already given a substantial contract extension offer to him. So for them to go out and do that, that proves like, okay, yeah, you can be our starting quarterback. But what I wonder about that contract that they gave out is not only did they give him a big raise in that deal, and an extended amount of years. But in that contract, I want to know the details. I want to know, does he have a no-trade clause? Because if he doesn't, then maybe that's why Aaron's like, no, that's not good enough.
It could be. Yeah.
I want to be guaranteed that I'm the starter. That's one of his standpoints. Another thing is that he just doesn't like the GM, and the GM doesn't listen to him either. Being a veteran and being in this league for so long, and a multi MVP type of player, a guy that has carried the team at times into the playoffs, won a Super Bowl. Why wouldn't you listen to a guy like that? So this is intriguing now. Now that we're into this situation, in this spot right now, Green Bay, it's your move. Ball's in your court right now. Aaron Rodgers ain't going nowhere. He's not showing up. He's not listening to any more of your offers. He wants to see results now from you. Make some changes, and Rodgers will come back. If you don't, it sounds like Rodgers is fully prepared to not only sit out, but I've heard small, leaks about possibly retiring. And he would be listen, his bank account is stacked. He's not worried about financial right now. But we've already heard from Aaron Rodgers as well that he's fully prepared to not only retire, but he would be just fine doing Jeopardy being a host for Jeopardy, and it would be good. Don't get me wrong. Rodgers does love football. He loves to play. But he's the type of person that you push him too far, he means it, and he's not going to budge from it.
Yeah, I agree with you there too. Absolutely. And that's the thing. That's the thing when you look at this whole situation. You've made him angry what they've done. He has the leverage completely. He can back out, do other things. We've seen you forget that he sat behind Brett Favre for a little while. Brett Favre did not want to give up this position here too.
Right.
It started off a little rocky for them at first, but then they eventually became friends. They're friends now. He has come out and said as well.
Picture.
but now they know and how they each other work. And we've seen Brett Favre do this. He wanted out of Green Bay. What did he have to do? He had to retire to get out of there to be able to move to another team. And what did he do, though, too? Move to another team that would be able to play against in the same division and be able to see them and kind of said, look at me. This is what you're losing out on now because I still have it, and I'm going to prove it against you. Not only twice a year, but I'm going to take you out of the playoffs and take your spot. And this is maybe something that we can look into and see potentially with this situation. Again, you pulled the trigger, thought it was a good idea to trade up, get Jordan Love in that spot. You thought that was a great value to get him, and he's just sitting there behind him. And we haven't, until just recently, heard about any type of progression that he's had, that they're ready to pull the trigger and put in Aaron Rodgers. But now that you're forced to, you kind of forced your hand at it. And then you've got Blake Bortles on the other end, too, in case you need him. Situation's bad. He can always walk out, and they need him more than
he's
needs
already
them.
out.
Yeah,
he's already out of the office.
No, I understand.
He's not even showing up.
Right. So, the thing is, like you talk about the Broncos. Like you said, they've got Bridgewater right now. He's doing more reps. He is building a rapport with Jerry Jeudy right now. These guys are locked hand in hand here. Drew Lock struggling right now in the camps. And
we knew that.
I think what some of these people see, they kind of what I think a lot of people see in the potential of the Giants. They see potential. If you look at some of these receivers, they look at Jerry Jeudy again another year, Cortland Sutton, KJ Hamler along with that.
Cortland Sutton is a baller.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. You got that together. Then Noah Fant, you think of them, hey, maybe those guys to toy around with too. I mean, that looks really appetizing. Melvin Gordon here, that looks really nice.
They have weapons.
And even some of the things that they've done on defense with getting Patrick Surtain there too on defense. They got Kyle Fuller in the backfield. Maybe it's enough that if they all can do it, this could be a surprise team. Get it done. But again, if you're already working with these guys offseason, he's looking to hold out all the way. So why would you wait until and Aaron Rodgers is one of those plug-and-play type of players.
Yes.
But why would you go until the season's ready to start, then just hit the switch and put Aaron Rodgers in?
Because it's Aaron freaking Rodgers.
I know, but it still wouldn't
why.
make sense of what you have going on.
I mean, that's the thing, though, is I would pull the trigger hands down, even if it was after week 1. I would pull the trigger to get Aaron Rodgers. You get Aaron Rodgers, and yes, it's going to take a little bit of time for him to learn the playbook. And as far as chemistry goes, that can be – he's a veteran player, a veteran quarterback, so he can adapt to any said player that he has to throw to. Yeah, it might not be instant. For sure it won't be. But give him 2-3 weeks into the season, he'll be fine. And listen, he's been clamoring for more weapons, and they just haven't listened. And as far as I'm concerned, Aaron Rodgers has the leverage here.
Oh, yeah, he does.
Because
absolutely.
Life without Aaron doesn't look good. It looks bleak. And as much as the hype that we're hearing coming out of Green Bay's OTAs about how great Jordan Love looks, how great his throws are in connecting with everybody, and all of these things, they haven't played a game yet. They haven't even played a preseason game. Preseason game will give you an idea of how good he could be. But we're not even there yet. So how can you say they're doing drills for God's sakes? OTAs, no one is like, yeah, they're doing a lot more drills. It's like it's hardly any contact at all. So for these reports, even like with Justin Fields, they're saying Justin Fields doing an amazing job in OTAs. he's definitely in the hunt to be the starter, blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's all well and good, but it's OTAs. It's like doing drill work all day.
Yeah.
It's learning the playbook, doing drill work. Now, mandatory mini camps, it gets a little bit more competitive because now you're getting closer to earning a spot on the roster. And when training camp hits, the main event, now it's all business. Now it's put up or shut up. You're fighting for a job. That's where we're going to really find out if these guys are legit or not. So if you can get a guy like Rodgers, to me, you pull the trigger if you can do it. And that's the thing, too, is with this whole situation right now, Aaron is not – it's all on Green Bay, all of this. If they don't make a change, Aaron's just going to sit out. And they're going to be without him anyways. I don't care how they spin it in Green Bay land on how good Jordan Love looks. And like when you were just mentioning about the draft, when they had a chance, they had a first-round pick and a second-round pick to address needs give him more weapons. What did they do with the first round? They traded in. They got a quarterback. Aaron Rodgers lost his shit. He's like, why are you drafting a quarterback when there was receivers there to take that I need? And then the second round comes. It's got to be a receiver. We were thinking, we were watching the draft.
Yeah.
It's got to be a receiver. They take a backup running back.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong.
They were just filling in.
Don't get me wrong. I love A.J. Dillon. I think he's amazing. But you had Aaron freaking Jones, too. What are you doing taking a guy, 2 picks right there in the first and second rounds where you could have really helped this offense overall be more deadly, and instead you took 2 backups essentially. I don't know. Sorry I went on a little bit of a rant there.
I hear you, but
it's
it's
just
honest.
I'm frustrated.
questions out
I'm
there that
frustrated
people
for
have.
Rodgers right now because this is 2 years going where he's asked for weapons. He's asked for weapons both years, the last 2 seasons, hasn't gotten them. He's got Devontae Adams. Don't get me wrong, one of the best receivers in the league, but he needs help on the other side. He needs someone else dynamic. Still not there.
Yeah, and it's tough, I think, and that's where I think some of these quarterbacks, a lot of people want to paint them out as complainers, and you're there to pay to get to play and all this other stuff, and that happens, and we understand that.
Some of them have right.
Yeah, but then also you got to think of even their will to win too. A lot of them already seem like they're looking more of a bigger picture than some of these GMs are and things like that about like say, hey, if you give me another pieces here and there, we can get something going and we can make a run and we can do this and that. Right. And when they're not being heard, they're kind of like,
what the hell?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people deal with this with all their jobs are out. You know what I mean? That they work in. You've seen it time and time and again when people are overlooked in things and there's a problem there glaring them in the face and they look past it and trying to go to something else to try and fix the situation. And this is what we're having here with this guy. And again, it's something that's going to keep going on throughout the summer. We'll keep updated on that too with all that stuff. And
I mean, even this past offseason, it wasn't just Aaron Rodgers complaining. It wasn't.
There was a few.
It was Russell Wilson too. Russell Wilson. All he was complaining about was, where's my protection?
Yeah.
I get hit all the time, every single year. I know I'm mobile. I know I can run, but I would like to get hit less. I'd like to last a little longer in this league. Wouldn't you? Because if you have me longer, you might have more of a chance to win another Super Bowl. And they did. They made an effort. They went out and they traded for Gabe Jackson from the Raiders to bring him in and play him at guard. They made a couple more moves on that offensive line, and that's why you saw Russell Wilson come back into the fold and be like, all right, cool. All right, I like what you've done. I like the additions that you made. I'm cool now. His prayers got answered. But so far, Aaron Rodgers hasn't gotten any reciprocation from Green Bay, and so far there hasn't been any movement on Deshaun Watson front. So those are 2 quarterbacks that are still in waiting.
And they're big names out there. So
huge,
the league,
great players.
The face of the league can be totally different by the time that all goes down. And another thing that I don't think we really brought up last episode or so, but I think that is on a lot of people's minds, is Madden cover is already supposed to have been leaked by now. They do it like the draft time usually, like in April, late April, and I don't think anybody's ever seen a cover out there yet.
No cover
It's not
yet.
leaked.
No.
They're even leaking different things about the game, different modes and things that they're
That's
doing.
nice.
But isn't it kind of funny now that we're not seeing the cover? So is it going to be, or was it supposed to be, Aaron Rodgers, because he was last year's MVP, and that happens a lot of times. They put the MVP on the
Or the
cover.
Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah. Or was it supposed to be even Deshaun Watson? One of these guys that are sitting out, because why not unleash,
I think it's going to
unveil
be
the cover?
I think it's going to be just the NFL Shield.
The NFL Shield. It
That's
might
it.
by this point. Who knows? Because who
I think
knows?
so.
It could be even the last season, if you think about it, that Madden holds the rights here. Well, it is the last one they hold the rights to.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
But it could be the last time Madden makes the NFL football game. Because now 2K could be in the
2K's
running,
coming
because a lot
back.
of people remember what some of those games were like.
Mm-hmm.
And they could be excited because time and time and again you always hear about the fans out there that play the game, some of the things they want to change and bug fixes and here and there, and things that they might have fixed, but then others that they still neglect. And for me, even too, that kind of has deterred me away from the game is that power up crap that they're doing, and that's what they even added in this new one. I mean, 99s now have some sort of power up. If I wanted to play arcade football, I would get a freaking arcade football.
I'll play
game.
NFL
Arcade.
Blitz if that's
Yeah,
the case.
But if you're trying to tell me with Madden now, if I have to do a certain amount of tasks within a freaking game to unlock an ability within, especially who does full length quarters? Nobody does that crap.
No.
Nobody does a full length quarter. So if you're telling me I have to do a certain task, so now I'm concentrating on tasks I have to do
instead of
just
playing
win
the game.
and play the game for what it is to unlock this particular superpower that by the time I get it, it's gonna be too late in the goddamn game anyways. Why the frig do I want to play it? It just annoys the hell out of me. And so, on the point of you're saying about the NFL Shield might be on it, it might be.
I think it would be cool.
Hey,
Why not? Why not have the NFL Shield? Why not? And here's the thing, too, is typically the men cover is because of the Super Bowl. So it's like whatever team wins the Super Bowl, the
But
MVP
they've already had time. That's the thing.
The MVP is usually on the cover. So I fully expect Tom Brady to be on the cover in his
Probably.
Tampa Bay Buccaneer uniform.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or they also have, they've also done like 2 players on the cover or something like that. We've seen Troy Polamalu be on the cover.
on the other
with,
side of
with like
Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah. So I mean, I wonder if they might maybe they're thinking about doing something like that. Maybe with like Rob Gronkowski and Tom Brady or something. I don't know. But
they
nonetheless,
haven't had an Aaron Rodgers one yet. I've
or-
seen Brett Favre from the Green Bay Packers.
maybe
on
they're
there.
just doing a phenomenal job of not leaking it yet, and they're waiting for a big reveal.
Yeah, I don't know. Perhaps I'm not sure.
Not to mention, you
it's
know what
'cause
I'm
it's-
pretty psyched up about, and we have to talk about this maybe next week, maybe something next week to table it here. Is there's going to be a new college football game coming out. For a lot of people that missed the NCAA college football, the EA Sports version of college football, it looks like we might get it, but it's not going to be soon. It sounds like from the latest reports that it'll be out in 2023. Which is very sad. I wish it was out sooner.
Madden 17. Who is that on the? Is that Robert Griffin III on the cover of Madden 17 from the Browns? Is that him on the cover of that one? I mean, that's pretty crazy. I mean, that was pretty. I don't know, literally left field to be a cover for that one.
But here's the thing too,
because he wasn't even a guaranteed starter for that.
I feel like too that they ask a player if he wants to be on there.
Well, did they do like a kind of, they have a couple together and then don't they do some sort of vote or a pick? Because we heard about the Gronkowski one with Odell Beckham Jr. Odell Beckham Jr. ended up getting it, but then Gronkowski got the season afterwards.
Right. Yeah.
So, again, and I'm still not hearing a lot about it. And that's got to be maybe some of the stuff that's going on. I mean, like I say,
I don't think so.
I don't care.
Because Watson wouldn't be on this cover anyway.
Yeah.
He just wouldn't be. He wasn't in the Super Bowl. He wasn't a Super Bowl MVP. Not going to be on it. It usually goes to the Super Bowl winning team.
A lot of
somebody
times.
on there.
As of recent, I would say that.
And the reason for it is because they did away with it because there was too much, back and forth. Like, should it be just the MVP of the season? Should it be the Super Bowl MVP? Should it be someone in the Super Bowl? Should it be the team? Should it be a player? Should it be a couple players? I think they just went back and forth and they just made it simpler and said, you know what? It's a Super Bowl winning team, and we'll pick a player, and they'll be on it. You know what I mean? Because that's what it's been like for the last couple of seasons. It's been like that. So I think that's a formula that they're sticking to. And now it's just like, who is it going to be?
Mm-hmm.
So Tom Brady could be. Maybe it's not Tom Brady. Maybe it's someone else. I don't know.
Who knows? I mean, it's out there. We never know with some of these. And then I've seen here with multiple different covers, too, with multiple people. But I don't know. It's
Know-it-alls,
something,
let
again,
us
that
know
might
what
be-
you think.
Yeah. About
Who do
any of
you
the
think
topics
is going
we're
to be
out
on the
there.
Madden cover? That's
Yeah,
what I want to know.
Because, again,
What do you
it's-
guys think out there?
It could be with any of that, because you're not seeing it. So maybe it is derived around this, because if he's not going to have a jersey of that particular team he's with, they maybe are avoiding putting it on there. But I don't know. They've done it before, though, too. They've done covers where they've had a guy on there that particular year. He switched teams.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they've done
I don't
it, too,
think that's
before
it
with
either.
that. So, I don't know. But, yeah, let us know in the comments about any of the stuff we talked about tonight. I mean, we talked about the medical marijuana. Are you for marijuana in the
NFL?
The NFL, too, and, pain management? Have you had experience with any of this stuff? Do you take it for pain management as well, what if, does it help you out? I mean, is it something that you think would be good? Do you think their performance is going to be changed by any of this? And also, the big news here that's been out there, the actual trade here that the Tennessee Titans here have gotten Julio Jones here, and now the question that we had asked, does Julio Jones make the Titans a Super Bowl contender? I don't think so. Again, I think it makes them better and a better chance to win the Super Bowl here. Or, I mean, not win the Super Bowl, win the division. Super Bowl, it's going to be tougher, too, because there's a lot of tough teams in that AFC. It's going to be really tough to get there. And then also on the NFC side, you still have the Buccaneers, too, who is just basically locked and loaded and kept a lot of the same players together and ready to probably take another run. I mean, you saw what one player, you want to talk about when Aaron Rodgers, if you can get onto a team, plug in and go, just adding that particular player, it just propelled that team right there through the playoffs into the Super Bowl.
Well, I'll say this. I think Tampa Bay, all they were missing is a capable quarterback to manage the game. That's it. It didn't have to be Tom Brady.
Right.
It could have been it even could have been Ryan Fitzpatrick, for God's sakes, because he just needed a capable quarterback to not turn the ball over. That's it. The team was built to win before Tom got there.
Mistakes. Yeah, or even penalties, too, were happening with that team. They just needed to clean it up,
Yes.
get it together,
Absolutely.
and do it. And it's funny. Go ahead.
Something just popped in my head.
Sure,
I
go
don't know
ahead.
why, but
Why
when we
not?
were talking about Aaron Rodgers, right?
Sure.
Potential places he could be traded.
Yeah.
I think if they could make it work financially, New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, New Orleans Saints.
I mean, think about
Why not?
think about that. I mean, you had a quarterback like Drew
They
Brees.
probably rework something to make it work. Yeah,
You bring Rodgers
But
to that team.
hurting for money right now.
That
but,
that could make them a winning team. Listen, they figured out how to get rid
Do
of
it for the
shave
Titans,
$60 million real
Yeah.
quick to get under the cap. I think they can do a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And if that was if that was capable enough, that instantly puts the Saints right back into that deep playoff run conversation.
And if they wanted to, too, in that whole particular thing, if they found another partner to take on Jameis Winston, if they wanted to unload him, and people might see
definitely.
that potential in him again, that they still think that he could be a quarterback, too, in this league, somebody might grab that opportunity. I mean, we've seen it here with Sam Darnold that there was, the Carolina Panthers still saw something enough in him to take him on, and other players that moved to other teams, too. So who knows? That's something interesting there that could potentially happen for these guys. But
For sure.
But I don't know. We'll see moving forward with that. But, yeah, a lot of stuff going on with all that news. Definitely let us know in the comments. Don't forget, go to our Facebook page. Give us a like out there. Then also join our group. We're at Football on the Know Show. Our page is called Football on the Know what is that? Football on the Know /Jim and Joe.
Yes.
I haven't been in that in a while.
Yeah.
Twitter. If you guys, again, try some of the Raise Energy. It's over there.
Yes.
Buy some Raise, all right?
Yeah.
With the promo
Do it.
code, raise them up, and tag us there on FB_know on Twitter with a picture of you with your Raise that you purchased and stuff, and we'll give you guys a shout out there.
Absolutely. Let us
know.
know.
And then go to the YouTube page, Football on the Know Show. Hit subscribe and smash the notification bell so you get all the updates on all of our videos and stuff like that. And again, we got a lot of stuff in the horizon. We're going to do some giveaways in a little bit, too. We got some other things, news we're going to throw out there in another month or so. So stay tuned for that.
Absolutely.
Joe, that is it for us
I am.
tonight, though.
I'm ready to do another show.
We're ready to bounce out. But, yeah, absolutely. One more time. We'll just give it out there
Let's
again.
go.
The Raise Energy, promo code, raise them up. Take the picture, tag us in it, and let us know what you guys think. Thanks
Become
lot
a
for joining
member
us.
of the Raise Rebellion,
Absolutely.
everybody.
All right, we'll see you guys next time.
Join us next week from 8 till 10 Wednesday night for more Football on the Know with Jim and Joe.